Good morning, Alan. It's Nate from Frontline Eurosports is going to give you your remote delivery on your new BMW F800GS. So the first thing we're going to give you is that you're working with a brand new motorcycle, so you have brand new tires. We're going to ride like we're riding in the rain for the first 50 to 100 miles, as they have a silicone coating on to help pop out the mold and preserve shelf life. So again, ride like you're riding in the rain for the first 50 to 100 miles. We're going to feature a 21-inch front tire. We can, as we discussed, go with different tire options such as the TKC 80s, the Karoo 3s for a more aggressive tread pattern. But these are a spectacular tire that's going to get you a lot of fun and athleticism on and off-road. Your spoked rim system with twin disc brakes that are going to be floating rotors and floating calipers. We have steel braided brake lines that are led up to our master cylinder, which has adjustability, our clear reservoir to give us our fluid level and fluid clarity. Being a water-cooled motorcycle, you're going to have a radiator behind our radiator shroud back here and an auxiliary cooling fan located on the back of that. You'll probably hear that kick on around 224 range when you're having higher temperatures on the motorcycle from stop-and-go traffic or slower moving situations. Our engine is the BMW F800 parallel twin that is fuel injected, water cooled, and chain driven. Going over the engine itself right here, there's not too much I can show you, but we're going to go over the controls and operation of the motorcycle. Our rear brake pedal, which does have a pedal that is removable for a rubber cushion to give us a little bit more cushion for street or a little bit more bite for off-road. That's going to have a brake pedal leading up to our master cylinder behind the heel guard and our overflow reservoir located in between the frame rails here for fluid levels and fluid clarity as well. Right behind that, we're going to go over to our rear shock assembly, which is going to have preload adjustment, manually adjustable. There's also a tool that you utilize, I'll show you under the seat, that allow you to easily transfer preload settings. We're going to have an electronic suspension adjustment option on this machine, so the damping values are electronically adjusted, which we'll go over the handlebar controls in a minute. Easily inserting the foot pad back into the foot peg. We're going to have pillion pegs that are permanently attached to the subframe, so we have the ability to throw a passenger on the back and let them enjoy this machine as much as we are. A rear fuel filler that is giving us a sub-tank, keeping our fuel underneath of us, keeping that weight and center of gravity lower and allowing for them to put the lighter, more stationary components underneath the typical fuel tank area. On the back of the motorcycle, we're going to feature an LED brake light system. We have clear turn signals with amber bulbs to keep us 50 state compliant, as well as a lit license plate bracket. Along the left side of the motorcycle, we're going to see our single canister, which is a cylindrical canister, and right above that are our mounting points for our preparation for the pannier system. We're going to have our bobbin here that we need to watch out when getting on the motorcycles. That can catch you in the knee if you're not careful and don't have the panniers on that time. Going forward, or down actually, we're going to have our rear braking system, which is again a cross-drilled disc brake with a Brembo caliper, steel braided brake lines with a line running parallel to that for our speed sensor pickup for our anti-lock braking system and our traction control that's featured on this machine. Going forward, we have our side stand. With that side stand is going to come a side stand safety switch. The machine will cut off if you try to put it into first or second gear from neutral while running. Will not let you take off with the side stand down. We have a 6-speed transmission with direct output shaft here, so we have a 1 down, 5 up with our smooth BMW transmission. Above that is our clutch actuator rod, which does have some major adjustment for cable adjustment, which is where we'll find ourselves more along the lines of working on that motorcycle than yourself. We have our minor adjustments available up on the clutch perch assembly here. We're going to have our engine oil check and fill, which is a dick stick. We have a drain at the bottom. And at the front of the engine is our spin-on oil filter right next to an oil recirculation system. Above that's your battery, or your starter, with a lead going to the battery for your hot. And that's about all I can show you on this engine. We're going to have more options for protection with upgrading the sump guard, engine protection, and all that good jazz. Next, we're going to go into the handlebar controls itself. Starting with the right at the very top, you're going to see our heated grip. Then our mode selection that takes us from Enduro and Road. our start button, which is a run cycle switch integrated with start as well. There's your start and your kill. Conventional twist throttle. Going along to the left handlebar controls, we have our conventional setting for horn at the bottom, left and right, pushing in for cancellation on turn signals. Our high beam is actually 4-finger, flicking forward for a positive constant high beam, pull back for low beam, or intermittent flashes by pulling back the trigger lever. We have our information button, which is our board computer I'll review in the instrumentation, our hazard lights, and this little doodad here is going to hook us up with all of our ABS, traction control, and electronic suspension adjustment settings. So let's turn the bike on and actually see it in action now. As we see our instrumentation queue up, we're going to have the flashing lights first noticeable on the left side. That's our traction control and ABS. They have not self-checked themselves. You're going to rotate the bike about 10 feet, 10 miles an hour. Those will self-test and clear themselves and let you know that the ABS and traction control are good. We have a dial gauge tachometer, dial speedometer with some instrumentation lights such as our neutral indicator light, turn signals, and you can see over here we're going to have our low fuel light for when we hit reserve, any lights for potential faults, and our high beam light down at the bottom. Inside the instrumentation we're going to have our timepiece, our trip or odometer right now, our mode selection, which is enduro currently, and then our board computer information. We are going to have our fuel level, neutral, which is our gear indicator. Right now, currently we're in neutral, and we have a temperature gauge. And we'll start finagling with these buttons. We can see our chronometer come on from our odometer, or we can cycle through our trip 1, trip 2, and back to our odometer. When utilizing the board computer info button on the left handlebar, we're going to see a switch from our ambient air temperature to our average speed, average fuel economy, instantaneous fuel economy, and back to our range on tank. Right above that you see enduro. That's where we go back to the right handlebar control and we hit our enduro mode button to go to a road selection. You can see it switching over to road now in the instrumentation. Last is our shock picture that they actually put on the button, which is our electronic suspension adjustment. That's affecting our rear shock. We're going to slap that button one time and pull up our ESA board and show that we have normal damping settings, sport damping settings, and comfort damping settings. We'll slip her back over to normal. It'll make its changes and then disappear off of the menu screen, and we'll continue operation of the motorcycle. So that's an overview of the BMW F800GS that you purchased from Frontline Eurosports. We look forward to having you come in and be part of our family here, taking advantage of our Todd Zacher adventure training, our Sunday adventure rides, and all kinds of other fun activities like our spring rally that's coming up. Thank you for being part of the Frontline family and letting us earn your business.